Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are all well. And I hope that everyone is abiding by the lockdown regulations and the rules during these interesting times. So, yes, thank you for registering and wanting to be part of this workshop. It's gonna be quite an interesting workshop, and I hope that it is as beneficial as possible, and I hope it's also as fruitful and you get to enjoy. So I am Thuthukani Ndlovu, but most people call me TK, so you're more than welcome to also call me that. I am a poet, social activist, blogger, run an online creative hub called the Radioactive Blog. And what else do I do? I'm a extended reality enthusiast or fanatic. I think I'd rather say fanatic. So I've been, focusing a lot on extended reality, predominantly augmented reality, digital art, as well as poetry. But poetry is kind of like the key focus. So yeah, I think it was last year when I stumbled upon a site called Artivive, and I was like, looking for different ways in which to take my poetry as well as other people's poetry or literature as a whole, to see what other avenues are there in terms of technology that we could potentially use. And yeah, that's how I came across this very convenient and very reliable tool. So yeah, basically this workshop, so like I've sent everyone an email, so just make sure you check your emails. A few ground rules before we dive into everything. So if you have any questions, suggestions, or anything you'd like to mention, there's a chat section that you can, type in your questions or suggestions, or feedback or anything if you want clarity on something. This is going to be very much theoretical but content-driven workshop. So basically how we're going to run it is three, for those who might have not yet read the emails that I sent. So the workshop is divided into three parts. The first one is this one that's from 9 to 10. The second workshop session is from 12 to 1:30. And then the third and final session is from 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. And basically this is just for me to give you the content. I have to look at that. Okay, Karen, no, that's fine. So it's just to give you guys the content, to give you guys the background, the foundation, and then the reason why this is a full day workshop is that after each session, you will have work to create. So we want you guys to create your own augmented reality artworks, basically. And we don't only want to give you guys the content and say this is how you can create it, but we want to give you guys that chance to actually create and present everything. If you haven't received the email, I'll just send it again after this workshop. It's not too much of a train smash. And then what then I'd request everyone to do is also just to make sure that you register on the Artivive site. It can take about an hour to activate your account, but yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open up my slide. And then, yeah. So the workshop is how to create artworks, so augmented reality artworks the easy way. There are difficult ways. So some people here might, be familiar with the Unity program to develop augmented reality applications, etc. For this is just for convenience purposes, for people that might be, into visual or fine arts, painters who might want to find ways to tap into opportunities within the digital space, basically. Let me do this. So like I said, this is the online workshop outline. First workshop. So we're just going to do introductions and expectations, then just a brief introduction to say, look, this is what augmented reality is. I'm not going to assume everyone is familiar with the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality, but I'm just going to try and be brief and explain in the simplest way that everyone can understand. And hopefully that, people can also be able to engage and then create, with that background knowledge with regards to what augmented reality is. And then workshop session 2, that's when we're going to you guys will give me feedback on what you've created. Bear in mind that I will be available throughout the whole day, so you will be able to contact me if you have any problems or any questions via WhatsApp or via email. But the second workshop, that's when we'll then focus more on creating the 3D augmented reality artworks. And then the final workshop session is a presentation of the work that each one of you would have created. This is just going to be like a nice, informal, very chilled. We're going to give a chance for everyone to kind of scan all the works that have been created. And yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So we shall dive straight in. And like I said, my name is Thuthukani. So yeah, the Radioactive Blog, basically, we have different initiatives that we run, from poetry events, poetry workshops, and even augmented reality workshops as this one. I think one of our most prestigious or favorite initiative that we run is the Given Poetry Wings 3. That's an exhibition that's currently happening, actually, as part of the Creativate Digital Arts Festival. So you're also more than welcome to go and check that out. It's basically a collaboration between poets and digital artists who have created work and exhibit this work through a virtual gallery. So that is currently ongoing. I will say, as a blog, also what we do is we try to cater for different spaces as well as different stakeholders within the creative economy. So from doing workshops to doing events to doing programs, online programs, we also have a blog where we promote different artists or different creatives. This is from musicians, the hip hop artists, different events. And we also, from time to time, this is not something that we always do, but we try to cater. So for example, at the bottom right of your screen, you'll see a book cover. So we also design book covers, design posters, and stuff like that. So now what I'm just going to ask everyone to do is, in the chat section, if you can just, mention your name, where you're from, and what you expect from this workshop. What I like to do with my workshops is I like to first get an idea from the participants of what they expect, and then in a way channel those expectations, say, okay, this is what I've prepared. How can I then channel them to what people have expected, and say, look, if you've expected to learn how to develop a virtual reality game, that's not part of what I've prepared, but I might know someone else or a different organization that could meet that expectation that you have. So they're just gonna help me in, guiding me through the workshop and knowing that, okay, this is what someone wants to learn. So yeah, so in the chat section, for example, I'll say I'm Thuthukani Ndlovu. I'm currently in Bloemfontein in South Africa, because I saw from the registration that not everyone actually have people from different countries as well. So I'm Thuthukani Ndlovu, based in Bloemfontein, South Africa, and I expect to learn how to develop my paintings into augmented reality artworks. So yeah, if you guys can do that, please, in the chat sections, just provide your expectations, and then I will go through them throughout the workshop, and then yes, hopefully we'll be able. I can't guarantee, but it's just a key element in terms of me knowing what people expect, basically. So yeah, the third question I was going to ask actually is if you guys have created your Artivive account. If not, it's not to worry. I was a bit worried because normally sometimes it can take almost a day to activate the account, but I've spoken to the people at Artivive and they told me that no, it can take just about maybe an hour or so. So if you haven't, no problem. I think what I'll also maybe do is I'll just post the link in the chat sections for those who might have not received the email yet. But like I said, I don't want this to just be me giving you information and then you will develop your artworks within your own time. I really want everyone to get a chance to create something today. And on this note, it doesn't have to be final. So this is just a matter of you just getting a hang of it to say, look, this is what you've created. And then going forward, you know, so you kind of get that first hand feedback. So say, look, if you come across a problem, you're able to then ask me and I'm able to provide feedback immediately or within the day, as opposed to, you know, should you want to do it later on or in a month's time. And then we're going to look at what is Artivive and who it's for. And then we're also going to just dive straight into how you can develop your own 2D or basic augmented reality artworks. So yes, we're going to go straight into it. So yeah, while you are, thank you for sharing your expectations in the chat section. Just feel free to continue sharing them here and put them. So basically, Artivive, let me do this so I can see. Yeah. So Artivive is an augmented reality platform for art. Now, what's going to happen here with this workshop is there are a lot of tutorial videos, which is great, that Artivive has provided. So it's going to be an injustice if I kind of share the same information that's in the tutorial videos. So part of what I'm going to be sharing is just maybe key information that you need to take note of that may not be included in the tutorial videos. So for example, after this session, there will be a link. I can even provide the slides so that you can access the tutorials, because they're different tutorials, and then you listen, you watch, and you're then able to, you know, use what I've given you here as well as the information in the tutorial videos. But yeah, the technology basically kind of creates these different dimensions for different artists. But the key sentence here that I want everyone to kind of focus on is that artists can take visitors on a journey in time and explain what lies behind, enhance the artwork, or tell a story. That is very key when you're developing augmented reality artworks, because sometimes people tend to experiment with different mediums or new mediums, especially in technology. And I always like to say you have to, there's nothing wrong with experimental art or experimental work, but there are a lot of benefits when it comes to when you find the synergy between the work you're creating and the medium that you're using to create it. So for example, given Poetry Wings, the first edition that we had in 2018, I just got the poets together with digital artists and I told them, look, create work, you know, so it was more like just a random experiment. But with time, I realized that no, last year, for example, there was one artist who, his digital art was very much on focused, the subjects were focused on mythical characters. And then there was a poet whose poetry also kind of resonated with, you know, these different kind of mythical creatures or mythical environments. And I partnered them together, or I paired them together, and I asked them to create work together. So then, you know, there's a bit more of, there's synergy between those two artists because the work they originally create within their respective disciplines kind of speaks to the same theme or the same subject. So yeah, that's just something to keep in the back of your mind to say, look, we're not just creating augmented reality artworks for the sake of creating it, but we wanted to kind of enhance what we have created or tell a story as this explanation says. And yeah, so our solution consists of two parts. There's the Artivive app, which also I would want you guys to download after this workshop or before. And then there's also the creational tool called Bridge. Now be careful not to confuse the two. People like to always confuse. Artivive app, you can download it for free on Google Play or iStore. Let's check my time, yes. The creational tool, that's now you can find on the Artivive website. So once you've registered, you then get access to Bridge. So the website, you get onto artivive.com, and then when you've registered, it will then give you the bridge page in which you can then what's this, create your account and then create your artworks, upload the artworks, etc. And then you can create an account for artists, students, museums, exhibitions, and projects, etc. So I'm just going to quickly go through what we have here. Just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything else. Okay, yeah. So basically, this is just a general definition of what augmented reality is compared to virtual reality. I figured it's very key to understand the difference, you know, in terms of the work that we do. You know, if you're gonna create an augmented reality artwork, you might as well, someone is bound to ask you what is the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. So it's just nice to be informed as much as possible. Which is why with the Given Poetry Wings exhibition that's currently happening as part of the festival as well, there are actually certain artworks within the virtual reality exhibition that actually give people information as to what is mixed reality, what is virtual reality, etc. So it's just kind of like an educational element and an appreciation to just understand the basics. So you don't need to study or get a degree in virtual reality, but as long as you just know the background and the difference in terms of that augmented reality just adds digital elements to a live view. This is by using your smartphones, and virtual reality is then the immersive experience. So that's why you need the headsets basically. But I think this picture kind of gives a better understanding or perspective. So for example, like virtual reality, the digital environments, you know, you get to see the whole environment. Whereas with augmented reality, it's the digital content on top of the real world. And then mixed reality is when the digital content interacts with the real world. This is more now, you know, for example, I think Pokemon Go is one of the best examples for this. And then we have mixed reality and extended reality. So yeah, like I said, mixed reality is basically a combination of augmented reality and virtual reality. And extended reality is just now basically the umbrella term that covers all the different technologies that enhance our senses. So once again, there are key words that I want everyone to just pay attention to, and that is, you know, in terms of the work that you're going to create, how does it enhance the viewer's senses, basically? So that should be in the back of your mind to say, look, if I am going to do this artwork or create this augmented reality feature or video, how does it enhance the work? You know, what is the objective behind what I'm creating, as opposed to just creating it for the sake of creating it, basically. And yeah. Then a question I'd like to just ask everyone is, you can answer by replying or responding in the chat sections as well. Is augmented reality better than virtual reality? I just want you guys to give your feedback in the chat sections. And then I'll respond to questions just now as well. So you can just put in the chat sections, do you think augmented reality is better than virtual reality, specifically for artists and creatives in this case? Okay, so Sonia says, I think it depends on the project. I think that augmented reality and virtual reality are used to different purposes, so neither is better really, except that AR offers you more opportunity to work with your own art in the real world. Okay, prefer augmented reality as it allows for the fantastical realms of the virtual and the visceral of live experience. Okay. Now, thanks for that feedback. Still feel free to answer that question. I'm just quickly going to respond to some of the questions that were asked before I proceed. And someone had asked, you don't need Adobe Suite to use Bridge. So Bridge is, you're using it online. It's basically an online platform. So you enter it through the Artivive website, and everything that you're uploading for your augmented reality video is on that platform. It says, in Artivive, I see options for artists. Does it change the experience? No, no, it does not change the experience of the app. So someone was asking, in Artivive, I see options for artists to download or for students, educators. So it's, the experience is within your hands. You have the control. I think in terms of the different accounts, it's just depending. So for example, like an exhibition space, you would require more artworks. So for example, you might have 40 different augmented reality artworks. So with Artivive, then they would obviously maybe come into an agreement to say, look, because they do charge for a specific number of artworks on the platform. So I think they give you about three spaces to create your own artwork. So you can create 3 free artworks because registration is free. And then if you want to create more, then you'd have to buy more space. So if you're just doing it as a student or as a project, then, you know, they have different ways that may be convenient for a student budget. And then there are different ways in terms of like a museum that would probably have like over 100 different artworks that would need to be converted to augmented reality. Gwendolyn says, most people, even in poor situations, have a phone nowadays, whereas VR is less accessible on this front. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And let me read again. Makes me know this after a while. Unfortunately, I'm interested in user-friendly AR. Okay. All right. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for your answers. So yeah, I think, you know, like Sonia did say that it is dependent on the project. I think, and what you want to do, as well as the objectives of, you know, the work that you want to create at the end of the day. But some of you guys have mentioned some of the, the answers. This is also available on the Artivive website as well. So they've included the answers in terms of why they believe that AR is better than VR for artists and creatives. But like, again, this is just dependent on the objective. So for example, like a painter, I think would benefit more depending on what they want to do with their paintings if they were to develop it using augmented reality artwork, because it is highly accessible. So like you said, everyone has a smartphone. The application is also for free. You can download it for free, and all you have to do is just scan and have probably a good internet connection. And it's easier to also experience. And also creating it is also easy compared to creating a virtual reality environment, actually. And I think the key one also here is also in terms of scaling and preference in augmented reality. So you'll see when you're creating your own augmented realities that you have different options of how you can scale your images. Let me just see for time. Okay, I'm still good for time. How you can scale your artworks and scale the videos and etc. So it's very convenient, like I said. I love convenience, but there are also limitations when it comes to convenience. So there are certain things that I think, for example, with the Unity program, that you can kind of have more, more freedom in terms of being more experimental with what you want to create. But once again, like I said, it's just dependent on your objectives and what you really want to achieve. And you can find more information on the Artivive website. They have a blog where, you know, we sometimes share a few articles from different people in terms of what we see fit. But yeah, so there's no real right or wrong answer with regards to that. And yeah, and I think also another key thing is I've noticed during this lockdown, for example, you know, not everyone has access to virtual reality headsets because those are very costly, for example. But if I can share, if you download the Artivive app, I can share an artwork with you now that has an augmented reality feature, and you'll be able to scan it. So yeah, goes back to it being highly accessible. But once again, it is dependent on the project that you are creating it for. If you have any questions, do feel free also to just drop it in the group chat, and then after a few slides, I'll just, you know, go through the chats and see if there are any questions and respond. But at the end, like, I think I'll just give about 10 to 15 minutes for people that, if they have any questions that they'd like to ask. So moving on. Now, this is what you guys really signed up for, is to how to actually create the actual 2D or the basic augmented reality artworks. So with Artivive, there are two ways you can create augmented reality artworks: 2D or basic view. Now, and like I said earlier before we started, there's a 5-minute tutorial video that explains the 2D option and the 3D option. I will share the link for you guys to watch. But there are almost like about 6 other tutorial videos that I'll also want you guys to watch. So that's kind of like your homework after the session ends. It's just to watch all the tutorial videos. But here I've just included key information that I feel like, you know, is something that you should keep in the back of your mind. So for example, when you're using your phone to scan. So what's basically happening is the Artivive app needs to recognize your artwork. So quick example, let's say I do a painting, the digital artworks from last year are close by. But let's say, I do a painting and I print it. So what Artivive then does when you're on the Bridge platform, after you create your artwork, it'll give you a recognition rating to say you have a 2 stars, it's out of 5 stars, to say in terms of recognition, this is how recognizable your artwork is to the app. So remember that the Artivive app is the one that's recognizing the image. I don't want, sometimes people, I've seen in previous workshops, people get confused in this part. So the artist uploads an image. Let's say I have a painting, and I've taken pictures of this painting while I was creating it. So I've developed maybe a stop motion or a time-lapse video of me creating this painting. And it's a 1-minute video, right? So the 2D, basically what happens is I upload the final painting. So that's gonna be my recognition image. And then on the second file that I upload is the video that will play when someone scans the painting. So the video is then uploaded onto Bridge. So you're uploading the artwork and the video onto Bridge. And then what then happens is, once I'm done with that, now it's in the gallery space or in an exhibition space, when someone sees the artwork and they're informed that this artwork has augmented reality features, which you can experience using the app. So the audience then downloads the app, and then when they scan it, the image is what's then going to recognize the video that has been uploaded with it, and then the video plays. I'm hoping I've tried to explain that as simple as possible, but once again, you will let me know. Can you export the work to other platforms? It depends on what you mean by exporting. I think with the Artivive, with the Bridge platform, for example, the best you can do is just share the video onto other online or social media platforms. So for example, you cannot, if you have a 3D object, you cannot necessarily export or upload a 3D object onto Artivive, unfortunately. So Artivive works in layers, which is something that I'll also get into. But yeah, so that's to answer Palissa's question. I think, maybe if you just explain what you mean exactly by what other platforms, like for example, which other platforms would you want to export the work? Are you talking about the final video or the augmented reality video or the artwork itself? But yeah, back to the slides. So key things, do not upload similar. So remember that the app has to recognize the artwork. So if you upload two artworks that are identical, it will kind of struggle to determine which is which. So even if it's similar, so for example, for argument's sake, let's say this slide that you can see in front of you is the image that I upload onto Artivive, and there's a specific video that's going to play a tutorial video. So that's my first artwork. And then I create another artwork and I upload a similar page like this slideshow, but then I just remove the heading creating 2D or basic artworks, excuse me. So the Artivive will struggle because there's too many identical features within the image. So you want to just keep that in mind. And in most cases, they will tell you that this is a duplicate image, and they will request you to delete one of the images. And then moving on, stop motion, as I said, or animation or time-lapse videos. So this is something that I don't want everyone to try and go out their way, depending on how good you are with editing and developing video footage. Because I've noticed sometimes people don't have an extensive background or the technical knowledge when it comes to developing videos, etc., and using different softwares. So at Artivive, we then just suggest that people, use DaVinci Resolve, for example. For example, the examples that I'll show you guys, actually, I used Microsoft PowerPoint to create the video. So it's just dependent on what you have access to or what you're good at. And not to try and go out of your way to start using After Effects and stuff. You can use that, depending on how detailed you want your video or the experience to be. But for today, I just want everyone to just get the foundation so that you kind of know how it works. And then you can start saying, okay, this is the limitations, these are the opportunities, and then you can go extreme. So yeah, so these work well, like I said, with painters. If you just have a time lapse of you creating the image does not have to, there can be minimal movement as well. You'll see in some of the objects I've created, there's very minimal movement. So it doesn't always have to be very extravagant. And it's not like you're trying to upload a movie, for example. So you can't have an artwork and then you have a 1 hour movie because it's not practical. Someone is holding their phone to the artwork. So how long are they going to be patient, or how long can they, hold their phone towards the artwork to watch the video? Hence why, Artivive is like, we suggest just 45 seconds if it's going to be longer, at least not more than not more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes max. If it's more than 2 minutes, it's going to be a bit problematic. Sonia's asked, could you upload only sound? Yes, but you would not be uploading an MP3. So what's going to happen is basically there are different layers that you upload onto Artivive. And but let's start with the basic, because the next slide is going to be on the 3D. So I mentioned the stop motion. The video should not be too long. DaVinci. You can even use the phone applications that you can use to create videos as well. So remember, today it's just to get started. It's not to create a final, this is just everyone to get started. And also the recognition level of your artwork should always be 3 stars and above. Because if it's 2 stars, then people are gonna struggle with the app. It's gonna have glitches, it's gonna take time. Because remember also, you need a good you need a strong bandwidth. Let's check the time. In order to fully experience the augmented reality video, basically. You'll notice once you've downloaded the app that it also takes quite a lot of power, because even if you're not, if the app is idle, it has to kind of close itself down so that it doesn't, because it's constantly it's constantly trying to recognize images because it uses your camera on your phone. So yeah, but then just to go back to Sonia's question about uploading sound, for the basic augmented reality artwork, so what's going to happen is when you create your account, it's automatically going to show you the basic view. Let me see. No, I didn't. Okay. So the basic view, or the 2D view, on your left side, you will see the image. That's the recognition image. On the right side, you'll see the space where you upload your video. So in order to only have an MP3 and not the video, you could, for example, let's say, like this is what I do with the poets, with Giving Poetry Wings. They would record a poem. You could have a green screen or a black screen in the video, but the audio is playing. And then when you upload, so you upload that video, but this video is just black. There's nothing really happening. And then what you do is you then set the transparent color of that video to black. So that's a shortcut basically that you can do in terms of getting the audio into the augmented reality video. So that's what we do. So that it's those key small things that are not included in the tutorial videos, but they do mention about setting different colors, making different colors of your video transparent. No, not different colors, but making one specific color of your video. So if you have a green screen video, for example, then you just set the green color as the transparent color, and then the audio then plays. Yeah, okay. Any other questions? We are almost there. All right, almost done. So initially, like I said, so this workshop was supposed to focus on the 2D basic augmented reality artwork, but I figured, look, because there's always going to be questions and challenges here and there. So I'd rather cover everything, and then for the second workshop, it's more just the feedback, and I think that's where now you can more interact and actually communicate and engage. So I'm just gonna, because we have time, I'm also gonna dive into the 3D basic, 3D or Pro. But before I go, any questions? Any questions? Because I think I feel like I've been moving very quick. If there are any questions in the chat section, just share your questions. There will be a chance at the end, but we still have time. Yes, DaVinci is only for PC as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they might have a phone version. I'm not too sure. But yeah, for phones, yeah, there are a lot of apps. A lot of people use, I think I need to find a different example because I feel like everyone gets used to it. But Pixaloop, let me see if I can do this. So Pixaloop, I'm just gonna put the spelling here. Pixaloop is also another, it's a phone app that you can use as well to create videos of movement. Specifically if you got images that have clouds, fire, water, smoke, images that you just want to create that bit of movement. You don't want the whole image to move, but you want a specific part to move in a specific way. So Pixaloop is a good app. Would it be possible to make AR completely on a phone? Good question. So with the phone, you can only create the 2D basic the 2D or basic augmented reality artwork. You cannot create the 3D augmented reality artwork. 3D is quite technical because you're dealing with the X and Y and the Z axis, and there's a lot more that goes into it. So yeah, so I've typed Pixaloop. I've typed oh no, sorry. That's supposed to be to everyone in the meeting. Pixaloop. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Pixaloop, that's the name of the phone app. like I said, that allows you to just create that bit of movement. Now I'm thinking this time, but at the end, hopefully we'll see. I think maybe we'll see. I think we'll see how time goes. But yeah, any other questions? I've got like 2 minutes left for this section. So I think any should do. With regards to DaVinci Resolve, remember this is, you'll see in one of the tutorial videos, they'll also suggest this DaVinci Resolve because it just works well if you're creating stop motion images. Going back to stop motion images or stop motion animation, sorry. So basically, it would be ideal for you to have, let's say I have a painting and I've been taking pictures of each process of the painting to the final artwork. It would be safe to have about, I'd say maybe 30, maybe 40 to 50 pictures. Yeah, 40 to 50 pictures. You can have more, but the key is to try and make the video transition as seamless as possible. So that's one of the key things. So that's DaVinci allows you to set the speed in which the video will be played, and yeah, and stuff like that. So yeah, and it is okay. So we can now move on to the next slide. But if you have any questions, like I said again, please feel free to ask. So this is what I was supposed to cover at 12, but like I said, we're obviously going to encounter a few hiccups here and there, so we might as well cover everything here. Always test the project after. So what happens is once you've created your 3D augmented reality artwork, I'll go into just the specifics of what to expect. But this is just the key. Like I need everyone to just pay attention to these key elements. Sometimes, you have a video and you might still see that the bit of green in the video. So you just want to always test and make sure that the threshold is enough, basically. So you're able to adjust the threshold. But I think also in terms of, because when you create the augmented reality video in Bridge, it will allow you to play it and test it. But like I said, you just want to be 100% sure. So you don't want to just play it on the laptop when you're creating it, but you want to test it with your phone to say, okay, is the video clear? Is it transparent enough? And you can add a max of 6 image layers and 3D. For 2D, you're only uploading 2 files. You're uploading an image and you're uploading an MP4. For the 3D, you have a maximum of 6 image layers and you have a maximum of 3 video layers. So you always want to also keep this in the back of your mind. There's also there's a limit to the size of the video that you can upload. Yeah, so you just want to keep that in mind. So for example, with 3D, the reason why they allow the layers is now when you're scanning the artworks, it allows you to have a layer in front of the actual image or a video that is in front of it. But the tutorials will have amazing footage about that, and you'll be able to get to see it, I think, more visual examples in that case. Yeah, once you delete an artwork, it's deleted for good, so there's no recycle bin, unfortunately. The approach. Yes, the examples are at the end. I just need everyone to download. How much time? Yeah, basically what I did is I've sent the link, and then should I check if I have the link? Let me see if I can get the link. No, I don't have the link here. Okay, but I'll get the link. It's also in the slides because I just wanted everyone to just, like I said, give the content, and so that when you're then looking at the videos, you're then able to go back and say, okay, this is what I was referring to. So yeah, 6 image layers, video layers. You'll see when it comes to the scales and the different options there, just keep in mind to always use there should be two decimal places or 3 max. The Z-axis is what allows you to position the artwork in a specific distance from the actual recognition image. And like I said, it should be seamless, so it should kind of just seem like it's part of the video, should be part of, the artwork. There should be some type of relationship. Look, if you don't want there to be a specific relationship between the two, that is still fine. But it just complements the whole process of having the artwork basically. And then when changing the values, if your layers, use a comma and not a dot. Yeah, so that's another thing to just keep in mind of. If you're changing any values on bridge, make sure you use a comma and not a dot. So now I want if everyone in the 5 minutes that we have, if you haven't downloaded the Artivive app, if you can just download it quickly on your phone. I don't know if you have a phone. It's on Google Play. It's on iStore. I just wanted you guys to then scan these images just so that you have that experience, in terms of the end user experiencing the augmented reality, basically. And then, yeah, the tutorial videos and everything else. I know I've been speaking quite a lot for like 50 minutes, but I just wanted to get just the key basics and everything, because the tutorial videos are very self-explanatory. It's I don't want to say things twice, if that makes sense. So my key is just to touch on the different things that might have been missed in the tutorial videos, and then, yeah, take it from there. So yeah, if you can download the Artivive app. So if you need the spelling, Artivive app, it's on Google Play, it's on iStore, and then these are some of the artworks that were created. It's a digital creative fest and app only. Yeah, so this is just, yeah, it's an augmented reality app. I'm not quite sure if that was the question, but this is what was created. I think it was in April. So the artists were tasked with creating work that speaks to the whole pandemic and the coronavirus. So yeah, I'm sure. So interesting artworks that were created. Actually, the one on the left, I had worked with one of the artists, as well as the one on the right. So the one on the left is a 2D augmented reality artwork. And then the one in the middle and the one on the right, those are 3D augmented reality artworks. So yes, I don't know, just maybe if people can let me know whether they're able to download the app and scan the artworks before we move on. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes I have my phone so I can see that. Okay. Sometimes it can take a while. So if it's same connection is too slow, you just might need to face the camera away from the artwork and then face it back. So yeah, it requires quite a very strong bandwidth in most cases. So you said you have an app on my phone so I can see the 2D and 3D artworks. My question is whether I need to download on. Okay, no, you don't need to download it on the computer. Yeah. So the app is just for the phone experience, whether if you have a tablet as well. And then the computer is predominantly just for you creating and uploading the artworks and the videos. So yeah. It's not the most ideal to scan, I must mention this, to scan augmented reality artworks via a screen, but we're under lockdown, so we have to find ways, because you can just play a video on the screen, right? So if we were actually in Grahamstown and in the same room and same space, you'd have the physical, these artworks printed on physical and scanned. So that experience is more legit or more genuine, if I can put it that way, and more ideal as opposed to scanning screens, because yeah, that's just, I don't know. So yeah, so if no, before we move on, we've got just a few more examples, a bit more time, almost done. Okay, got it. Does the viewer need internet connection to scan? Yes, you need internet connection. You need internet connection. You need at least just a good internet connection. Let me put it that way. Because remember, this app is trying to, to recognize the image. So I think it can be one of the disadvantages as well, because there are certain spaces in which, not every exhibition space, for example, has access to Wi-Fi or free Wi-Fi, it is. So yeah, but do the artworks always have to be in portrait format? No, these are just the ones that I could fit. I figured if I do the landscape, it was just gonna be only 2, and I didn't want them to be too small. And I think I mentioned, okay, I didn't mention it, but though, I think I'll just highlight it. Let me just go back. Let me just see if I talked about the dimensions. The video should not be long, not exceed. Also keep in mind that you can create a looping. So yeah, and I think I also never touched on this. Keep in mind that you will see with these videos, I'll go back to the video, the artworks just now, is that the video loops once you're scanning it. So like I said, so that's why it shouldn't be like 5 minutes, because that's quite long. So you can create a video that loops every 20 seconds, or you can just create a video that's 45 seconds, and then when someone's scanning it, I think the first one on the left has a poem, and then the other 2 are just, yeah. So it doesn't always have to be videos, once again. So the left one, quick example. Ooh, okay, time. Quick example. So how the left one, the one with the woman, was created. The poem was recorded. We took the lady recorded herself, a video of herself reciting the poem. We then took the video. The video was, and then we made the video transparent. So that's how we got, and that was one layer. So that's one video, and then you then have the image with the whole movement, which was created using Pixaloop, the phone app that I mentioned as well. So that effect was created, or that video was the second video that was uploaded. So those are the 2 layers that are involved with the image on the left. I think it's called Fragile or something. The one in the middle, now this one is 3D, but this one, the artist used, I think, about 4 to 6 image layers, and she placed them in front of each other. So so you don't have to always have a video. You can just have images that are layered one after the other. And then the one on the right, what did I do? Yeah, this one was just also different videos. I think it was about the fire ring that happens. That's one video. The coronavirus cells that come out, that's another video. And yeah, so I think it's just 2 videos. So you don't necessarily have to have, 6 images and 3 videos. You can just, it depends on the objective of what you're trying to create. So yeah, we're gonna move on once again. Like I said, just we're almost done. More examples. I think I'll just go, no. And thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the feedback as well. This is what was created this year. This is for now the Giving Poetry Wings 3 exhibition that's currently happening. So I thought I'd give you guys just a bit of a teaser with hopes that it'll make you want to go and visit the virtual exhibition that's currently on. Different ways you can access this exhibition space. You can access it as a link, so you can access it without downloading the actual exhibition. So that allows you to, get onto the link online, get to see, move around, navigate, walk around the exhibition space, see the different artworks. Alternatively, you can, if you have 900 megabytes, you can download the exhibition space. I think one of the nice things about downloading it is you then don't need internet. Once you've downloaded the exhibition, you don't need internet access to see the exhibition or enter it and listen to the poems and watch the videos and the music, etc. Working now, so amazing. Okay, thank you for the feedback. We are almost done. I'm just gonna give you guys just one more, maybe 2 minutes. So it's now 10, my watch says 10. I want to get down to your homework, because I cannot wait to see what you guys will create. So I think I don't want to go away too much from what was planned, but the image on the right, for example, that's a 2D stop motion video. And then the one in the middle, once again, I think the artist used Pixaloop. So you don't need to necessarily use Pixaloop. There are a lot, excuse me, there are other applications you can make use of which are similar to Pixaloop. So yeah, just feel free to just, explore what other apps that you can use at your convenience. And then I'm not too sure with the one on the left, how the artist created that one. But yeah, so we need to wind up, down. Any questions? Any questions? This is the last slide. You can put them in the chat sections. Yes, if you have a question, please ask. I see Valentine, you have a question. Okay, so on Artivive Online, you can upload 3 artworks for free. So Artivive, what they'll do is they will give you 3 spaces to have 3 projects for free. It should still be 3 for now, but they kind of change sometimes. And then if you want to, so it's kind of like spaces or projects that you're creating. And if you want to create a 4th project, then they'll tell you, okay, this is how much it costs to buy maybe 5 to 10 spaces. Or if you want to pay per month, then you can just have you can choose the option of just paying a specific amount or a monthly fee. And then they'll say, okay, we'll give you, I'm trying to remember, but everything is on the website. I think they recently changed the pricing. So you just need to check the website. But yeah, you can pay either once off and say, look, I want to pay for 5 to 10. You can't pay for one specific space. You have to pay like in 5, 10, or 15. And then the alternative option is to then say, okay, I'll pay per month. So yeah, what you're gonna email me is basically, you're emailing me the image. You're not emailing me the video or anything. You're just emailing me the final image that then I will scan. And then when we have the final meeting, that's when I'll just share my screen and then allow everyone to kind of just scan the images from one screen. And then we'll just give feedback. So yes, just the image only. Yeah, but first things first, please watch the tutorials. Let me see if I can do this. Yes, copy link address. I'm gonna post the link in the chat. So there's about 6 tutorial videos that I want you guys to watch. Like I said, this has the videos, it has the visuals. Boring just listening to my voice and watching the slides. But after this workshop, you can embrace yourself with all the visuals available on YouTube after you watch the tutorials. And I think most of you have downloaded the Artivive app and you've scanned the examples. I also want you to watch other augmented reality videos on YouTube as well. So you can check out the Artivive YouTube channel. And then the first thing you guys have to do is you have to create one 2D or basic augmented reality artwork. This is before workshop 2. So remember, workshop 2 starts at 12:30. So let me just see, this thing is covering, okay. So yeah, just create it. It doesn't have to be like the final, just for you to get the idea, you know, it's just for you to get the hang of it. Don't forget you have to create your account as well. Don't forget to register and create your account on Artivive. And then the second one is you have to create one 3D artwork before workshop session 3. And then everything needs to be emailed to me by 3 p.m. latest, and that's my email. I've sent everyone an email, but I'll just double check because I had just copied and pasted everyone's email, but that is my email address. That is my number, 667, and that's for WhatsApp. And yeah, so, and then we'll take it from there. So for example, so the second session, please, I'd like to encourage everyone to please come and attend the second session. That's the chance for you to now then give feedback, and then I can also hear some of your voices, hopefully. But this is just kind of like an update to say, this is what you've created, this is what's there. And I can also share more examples of some of the work that I've created perhaps, and maybe some of the information that you might have seen, or if you come across any challenges, then we're able to assist. And then we'll just touch more, I think, on the 3D, because most people find challenges with the 3D one. But yeah, any questions before we conclude? Is everyone kind of clear with what's required? The tutorials will explain everything like in the simplest way. So it's just 5 to 7 minute tutorials. It's not like a lecture or anything. It's just nice quick tutorials. We've put them all on the website. So yeah, that's another nice thing. So after the first one, it's about 6 that you can see. There's also a video on in terms of how to make sure that your image, the recognition level of your image should at least have 3 stars. So that's another key thing. Make sure that your recognition level of your image has 3 stars. And what else? So for example, yes, images should try and focus on contrasting colors. So for example, your image or your artwork that's going to be recognized, it shouldn't, for example, a black and white image is easy to recognize because, you know, the app will be able to identify and say, okay, this is between black and white. But if it's, you know, different shades of gray and there's no definitive distinction between what's in the artwork, it can become a bit more difficult for the app. So yeah. Okay, next I'm just gonna and line work, yeah, it should still be easy to recognize. It depends on the colors. I think Sonia, your work is mostly, I'm assuming there's a black and white. Yeah, so it should, but you'll see, you'll see the augmented, but it shouldn't be a problem. It's mostly when you use like not complementary colors per se, but when you use colors that are very close to each other and there's no definitive lines that separate each space or each, yeah, I don't want to get into artistic or art jargon and stuff, but yeah. So yes, Lauren has mentioned, so the second session, 12:30, please just sign up at just 10 minutes before we start so that, if you have any problems or struggles, we were able to try and assist before we start. And any last questions before we conclude and you guys go? If you have any questions, like I said, after we end, you make sure you just have my number, you have my email. This is a full day workshop, so I am at your convenience. I'm available at your convenience. Do not suffer in silence, please. If you come across any ideas or anything, just feel free to let me know. So that's where thanks, TK. Looking forward to session 2. All right. Okay, so thank you very much for, again, attending the first session of this workshop. I know I feel like I've been speaking for a long time, but yeah, I'm really hoping that it has been, at least kind of sparked a bit of interest in you in terms of what you can potentially create or what you can potentially do. But like I said, the tutorials will give you more visual inspiration, basically. And yeah, if no one has any questions, then I think we can end this meeting. We're using the same link, by the way, for the next workshop sessions. So just use the same link that you used, and I will see you here at 20 minutes past 12. Yeah, cool. Thanks. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the workshop on how to develop augmented reality artworks the easy way. Sorry for the 3-minute delay. I was trying to just sort out my Wi-Fi on this side. So the other people that I'm living with were struggling to get onto the internet. So we had to make sure to try and reset everything. All right, so first and foremost, thank you to everyone that has sent me the emails. I wasn't able to reply all of them because, like I said, the Wi-Fi, wanted to just sort that out. But yes, we are here, and I just want to get a sense of maybe feedback in the chat section. If you can just maybe give your feedback so far as to what has your experience been so far with trying to develop a 2D augmented reality artwork. And then if you weren't with us in the first session, please just also let me know so that I can then maybe see how to assist accordingly. So if everyone can just in the chat section just give me your feedback so far. Have you come across any challenges, anything new? I know someone had found a new, I forgot what the app is called, but yeah, I just want to get a sense of feedback before we proceed. Okay, Christine says it's very easy to navigate the app and develop the artwork. Grateful, picking the one soft to text animation can be frustrating. Yeah, look, it's part of the learning experience, I guess. You know, it's part of the learning experience. So it's just nice to, I think for me in the workshops that I've done, I always try to get people to explore existing workshops or existing tools they have, but also to, you know, have a look at new tools that are also available, basically. So, anyone else? So far, like the emails from the emails that I've received have been very positive, so I'm happy with that. Um, able to watch all the videos, the program is easy to navigate. I feel. Yeah, look, like I said, this is just, we're not creating the end product per se, like a final product. This is just to get you guys, you know, actively creating something. And then if you want to continue working on it, you can do so after today. I just want everyone to just kind of get in the hang of it. Sonia, I saw your email. I'll respond to it. I also saw, was it Christine's email? I saw your email as well, but I didn't have time to scan the artwork. So yeah, so like I said, with the tutorial videos, it's well explained in terms of each avenue in which you can use to develop an augmented reality artwork. So I didn't want to, you know, like I said earlier, I don't want to say what's in the tutorial videos and then you watching it's the same thing, because what's the point of the workshop then? Anyone else want to give any feedback? Henrietta, did you manage to maybe try anything? It's good to get feedback. I'm gonna just ask people here. But look, if you're still working on it, if you are still not comfortable with what you've created so far, that is still fine. That is still fine. Because basically what this workshop is now focusing on is just the feedback on what I've received, but also just to find a way to say, look, okay, in preparation for the final workshop, in terms of how some people can still work on what they have so far. So yeah, so this is more less, there are no slides for this workshop session, so for example. And then this is just me just trying to explain maybe a few key things that I've noticed from what people have sent so far. So we will dive into it because we'll start here. All right. So I think a key thing that I didn't touch on in the first workshop is the importance of just make sure that, remember, you have on the screen, you will have on the left side, you have the image that's going to be recognized, and on the right, depending on which, if you're going to, yeah, you're doing the 2D one first, yeah. So you're going to have two, you know, files that you're uploading basically. The dimensions should be the same. So if you're going to use a portrait picture, then the video should be portrait, exactly the same. I think in the slides, what I was supposed to do, I was supposed to email it to you, but I wasn't too sure. I think I should have just, yeah, it's in the draft. I'll just see. I don't think it went through because it was just before the internet, the Wi-Fi problem. But I'll still just send the email with those slides so that you have that information as well if you want to use it. But the key thing is with Artivive, it can adjust your image and the video to fit, but you want to just use the same files with the same dimensions. It's just, you know, because otherwise if it's if the image that's going to be recognized is smaller than the video, you then one of the two gets compromised. But if it's the same dimensions, then that's still fine. And then what I also then picked up is in terms of, so with the 3D now, because I saw some, this is for those that might have already ventured into the 3D option. Be careful not to, in terms of when you put the layers in front of the existing image, you want to make sure that everything is kind of in sync with your image. So you'll notice from the first workshop when we were scanning the artworks that the video and everything happened within the confines of the actual artwork. So it's not to say you can't have things, floating outside the perimeter of the artwork, but it's just to just kind of control everything to say, look, since we're starting, and then you get the hang of, okay, if you're going to move it to the side, I think in terms of, let's say, I'm trying to think of an example here. I was supposed to I sent it, let me just see. So in terms of, if you have a video and it's a green screen video of smoke, for example, then you can have the video being bigger than the actual artwork, because the smoke effect is kind of going to give it that 3D feel if you put it in front of the layer. And then let me do this. Yeah. So you don't want the layer that's in front to kind of, be tilted. That's another thing, because I saw one of the people that, I think it was, let me just double check here. It was Carrion. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Because when someone's scanning it, you don't want the video to be shifting a lot or moving a lot. I think what I should have done is maybe I should have also prepared examples. I don't want to say they're bad examples or anything, but I just want everyone to the key focus of this workshop is for everyone to get used to using the app as well as using Bridge, and that's the platform. Any questions so far, or is everyone cool with what I've talked about so far? And remember, just use whatever is at your disposal. You don't necessarily have to go out of your way. You can use one of the simplest ways, I think I also mentioned this earlier on, is if you're going to take a video, you can take just a 1 minute video of, I don't know, anything. Let's say you take a video of a bird. Yeah, 1 minute video of a bird. You can then get the Artivive site or on Bridge. I'm sure you've noticed it gives you the option to make the first frame of the video the actual image that will be scanned. So, okay. So yeah, so that's another option that you can do, in terms of, it's a very simple option where you take a video, a 1 minute video, upload it onto Artivive, onto Bridge, and then you just say you want the first frame of this video to be the image. And when someone scans the first frame, what it then does is it also allows you to download that first frame so that you have the image if you want to print it or you want to send it, basically. Missed it, but what is useful? Monetize. Okay, so Karen is asking, what is AR artwork used for and how is it monetized? That's a very good question. So basically, the key here is trying to give artworks life, or trying to tell a story or trying to communicate something with the artwork beyond its existing or its original state. So the Artivive app is specifically designed for artists or creatives, but it's not limited to artists, for example. So it was just to say, look, we have people who paint, let's say. I think that's the most practical and easy example. So someone who paints a picture, but they want the audience not just to see the end product. They want the audience to kind of get a sense of the process behind, how the painting came to be, from the pencil to each layer of paint and stuff like that. So in a way, if that's the objective of the artist, then they would have a time lapse to say, okay, when you scan the artwork, you get a sense of this was the initial drawing or the initial sketch, and this is what came out of everything. And you get to see that within like 45 seconds to a minute. So yeah, it's dependent on what you want to achieve, your objectives, and what you want to communicate, you know. Yeah, it's like at Artivive, we say the possibilities are kind of endless as long as it's possible. So it's dependent on your imagination and what limitations you might have. And then you would know whether if it's feasible or not. In terms of being monetized, that's also dependent on the artwork. Because some people, you know, what we normally do is we normally say, so for example, you have a painting and let's say it costs 5,000, 10,000 rounds. Having an augmented reality painting then gives it that added value to say, look, there is a different layer that you can actually experience within this painting. So yeah, but I think the primary principles when it comes to marketing artworks or any form of art still apply. So it's mostly dependent on the person. But I will also mention, I think after I just answered this, I'm also thinking of ideas beyond the face, space, and audience. Makes sense, fully online. Yeah, I think, like I said in the first workshop, it's a bit tricky, you know. There are different types. Remember, we also spoke about the mixed reality. So I think mixed reality is a bit more convenient. Now, the Artivive app does not do mixed reality. But yeah, for online work, you can still get people to scan an artwork or an image. And when I mean an artwork, I mean, because there's the general assumption that the people who are attending this workshop are artists or in one way or the other do some form of art or creativity or have a creative skill. But I think it was, I will keep on forgetting, it was Karine who mentioned she wants to like do a book, publish a book that has illustrations with augmented reality. Now, what I'm actually doing, like I said, I'm a poet. I actually have a book. I was supposed to publish it. When was I supposed to publish it? We were supposed to launch it this month. That was before the lockdown happened. And this book, basically, it's a poetry collection, but it has illustrations which people can scan to experience the augmented reality or to listen to some of the poems. But there are also poems that are in text. So when you scan the actual text, then there's a video that plays or there's something that pops out from it. So yeah, the possibilities are quite endless. You know, you can have a poster that has augmented reality and has the information. And when you scan the poster, you get to see the advertisement, you know, or the advert, basically, the video advert of that event for the poster. And then you're saying, what do people mostly use it for? Yeah, this is mostly used to just kind of enhance the work that they have done. So most exhibitions, it's just people just giving that added layer so that people can actually, you know, experience a different story, not different story, but just an alternative experience. Because you get into an art exhibition space, you look amazing art everywhere, and that's it, you know. But when you now get into an exhibition space, and you can see this art everywhere, you get to appreciate the art. But now, when you're able to unlock something else, to say, okay, there's a different layer, you know, and it's not just video; it can also be audio. So say, oh, it doesn't have to be a poem. It can just be music. It can be an ambience, instrumental. So it can be anything. It just depends on what your objective is in terms of creating the augmented reality artwork. Do you have to download created image of, or can you send the JPEG you created? Valentine, I'm trying to understand this question. Do you have to download image? So basically what's going to happen, this depends. So if you have a painting and you're creating, well, let's address the 2D augmented reality approach first. So if you have a painting, you would take the picture of the painting and upload it onto Artivive, onto Bridge. I don't want to confuse the app and Bridge. Remember, this Bridge is the online platform, Artivive is the app. And then you then take the video of you creating the artwork, the painting, and upload that onto Bridge as well. I was sending to. No, here I'm talking about uploading onto the Bridge, not emailing, not sending it to me. But so the first way, so saying the painting, you upload onto the left side the image, and then you upload the video. What you can do is, if you just have a video, you can upload it. This is also applies for both ways, but this is the second approach. You can upload the video, and then you say you want the first frame to be the image that then gets recognized. Then once it has processed the augmented reality video or artwork, it will then give you the option to download it directly from Bridge. So I hope that's making sense. So the same applies to if you have an artwork and you have a video, you can still download it from Bridge. That image that you download, the recognizable image that you want people to see first, that you can then send as a JPEG or in any form. You print it. Just as long as, if you're going to print, just make sure that, the quality of printing does not compromise the actual image, because the app needs to recognize the image. So the quality should not be compromised too much, I should say. Talking about original, a book is a good idea, maybe also children's books. I love the idea of scanning the text to get another layer of art. Okay, yes, no, definitely. I think so part of the final session, I'm also going to share information with regards to what other creatives or organizations are doing with augmented reality, not specifically within the art space. So I know I have a friend in Joburg, they're using it as an educational tool. I think it's mostly within the field of biology, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure. Is it biology? I need to just double check. But they're using it as an educational tool. So there's this booklet, I'll call it a booklet maybe, that they have, that maybe speaks about different parts of the body and the rib cage and everything. I think it was the rib cage, if I'm not mistaken. So what they do is they've developed their own augmented reality app, though, that when now a student scans this booklet, they get to see kind of like a 3D version of what a rib cage looks like. So instead of it just being, in a book and it's like that, you get to see, a rib cage in 360 and actually see, oh, okay, this is what it kind of looks like. So it gives it that different experience, if I can call it that. So yeah, so the possibilities are endless in terms of what you could potentially do with it. In terms of augmented reality, I'd like to say maybe it's tricky because there are people. So another organization in Joburg is We Are VR Josie. I think I'll just find out if they have something. Their main focus is virtual reality, but they do, I think the collective, the people that, because they have like a WhatsApp group. There's this one big WhatsApp group of, call them virtual reality enthusiasts, if I can put it that way. So some of them, because I'm more into augmented reality, but I'm part of the group. So some people in the group potentially would work in augmented reality, but I think most work in virtual reality. So I wouldn't say that there are a lot of popular collectives or communities in South Africa, to say the least. It might be different in other countries. My goodness. So yeah, but in the final session, I will share, that's when we'll be looking at what you guys have created. And then we'll just look at a few more examples as well of what other people have created. And you can, like I said, there's the Given Poetry Wings exhibition that's currently happening. Once I get the link, I'll post the link here so you can just also go and have a look at it. Keep on getting emails. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so thank you. Thanks to everyone. I can see some people have been sending me emails now. I will respond to all the emails after the session, and then we just continue creating. Then if you have any questions, either send them via email or let me know via WhatsApp. Image was created in Photoshop, saved as JPEG. So I'm asking, is the image uploaded onto Artivive and the JPEG from Photoshop the same thing? Image created in Photoshop, saved as JPEG. Okay. Image. Yes. Okay. I think I know. I understand that. Yes. Yeah. So we've used Photoshop. So the images are the same. Yeah. It will recognize the image. You know, and even in terms of, so here we're creating digital images. If you've checked out on YouTube, some of the Artivive videos, some people have murals, there's graffiti on walls that they've, you know, what's the correct word? That have augmented reality features, yes. So, you know, even on a t-shirt, it depends on how far your imagination can go and whether it will be easy to recognize the image. Someone even had a tattoo and, you know, excuse me, and they created this augmented reality experience when you scan the tattoo on the JPEG. Yeah, and you could call it that way. It's a similar way to scanning QR codes. It's more, yeah, I wouldn't say it embeds something on the JPEG file. I don't know if that's the correct. I've never thought of it using that term, embedded images, but you could put it that way, maybe. Okay, no problem, Karen. I see you have to leave. No problem. Look, so like I said, yeah, if you guys have any more questions, please feel free. Let's share the questions in the chat section. This is me just trying to give as much feedback as possible, and if anyone has any inquiries or suggestions or anything, keeping in mind that, you know, I think I don't know if I mentioned this in the first session. These workshops are mostly just, like I said, to provide the content for you to get started with. So it's just basically the foundation. So if you also have, you know, if you know any suggestions or any key things that would be useful to everyone, still feel free to share. So it's not like I am the expert and I know everything. You might be attending this, but you also might, you know, have access to knowledge or experience that I might not have. So do feel free to also share that. So yeah, any other questions? Any other questions? I'm just gonna quickly go over and see if, in case I didn't miss anything else. Oh, and then maybe going back to the question of monetizing the artwork. So for example, how other people have used the augmented reality artworks. I know this is one guy, I don't know where he's from, but he printed his artworks on kind of like pamphlets, not pamphlets, but kind of like these small cards that, you know, I'm trying to find the right word for it. I don't know why I've forgotten the right word. Almost like a postcard. It's like a postcard. No, I'll just call them a postcard for now. But something that, or even another way is like a bookmark, for example. You know, you could have a bookmark with your artwork that has augmented reality. And that's a different way to then also sell it. To say, okay, look, this is what you've created, and this is how someone can experience it. So yeah, it's just depending on how creative or what you want to really achieve and the audience you're trying to achieve with it. I think personally, in this day and age, you know, a lot of people, everyone has a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people have smartphones, and you know, people are finding different ways to try and engage with not just art, but just any type of content. The question is just how beneficial is it in terms of reaching that objective. So, for example, the Given Poetry Wings 3 exhibition that's currently happening as part of the Creativate Digital Arts Festival. We, you know, we decided to try and find not just a way of sharing poetry through augmented reality or in a virtual reality space, but we said, look, the audience that listens or attends a poetry show, it's rare to find that type of audience in a space where there's virtual reality and augmented reality and vice versa. You know, someone who's virtual reality or extended reality fanatic, you might not find them at a poetry competition or poetry reading. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but the possibilities are very slim. So with Given Poetry Wings, getting the poets to work with the digital artists then encourages these two different disciplines or artists from different disciplines to collaborate with, work together. And then, you know, the poets' fans will then come to the exhibition to say, oh, I want to see what is this augmented reality about. And the person who's into augmented reality gets to also get into the same space, and instead of just, you know, being there to see the virtual reality or augmented reality, they get exposed to poetry as well. So that's one of the key, I think, fundamentals or objectives why we started Giving Poetry Wings, was to say, how can we bridge these, not bridge, but how can we connect these two different audiences that you often would not find in the same space, but can share the same feelings or the same experiences, or find a common ground between the two. Because a poet might predominantly write poems about women. A digital artist or a painter can probably paint predominantly portraits of women. You could probably get, I'm trying to think of what else, a musician whose music is also, you know, focused on women. And you get them to come together to say, look, create this work that people can experience through augmented reality. And in a way, then you get these different audiences to say, okay, the fans of this person's music, the fans of the poet, the fans of the painter, everyone comes together and they're in the same exhibition space, and they get to experience and learn to say, oh, this is what augmented reality is, and not kind of think it's like a type of technology that is not accessible or not relevant. Because sometimes, you know how people can perceive technology as something that can prohibit uh, keeping certain cultures in society, for example. So in an actual fact, just to say, look, this is how we could potentially preserve, you know, certain information or certain things about specific cultures. But going back to what I said in the first workshop is that it depends on your objectives. Like, why are you creating the work? What do you want to communicate through the augmented reality? And then, yeah, if you have that in order, then everything is good to go. So it's not supposed to just be experimental all the time and just let's see what happens, but rather, how do you find like a synergy between the video and the artwork, to say, look, so that someone can kind of understand the relationship between the two. Any other questions or suggestions? I feel like I've been speaking. You can drop a question in the chat section. If you have a comment or anything, if you came across something that might be beneficial to everyone else, still feel free to share. Sonia's asking, in terms of editing, what do you mean? Are you meaning editing on Bridge or, yeah? Because the editing on Bridge, you cannot necessarily change the image. Yeah, Bridge is just nothing for now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, Bridge is just, you have to have edited and done everything that you want with the image and the video. Because all Bridge is gonna do is get the image and the video. The only editing they can do is in terms of scaling the image or the video to say, do you want it to be this scale or this size? And do you want to make a specific color within the video? Do you want to make a specific color transparent? I don't think you can make a specific color transparent when it comes to the images, if I'm not mistaken. You can preview. You can preview. I know on the 3D you can play. On the 2D view, I'll just have to double check. I don't know. I think that once you upload, the nice thing is, look, when you upload everything and it has been processed, you're then able to kind of, what was I gonna say? When once everything is uploaded, you're then able to play it, yeah, because you will have a list of projects that you've created. So once you've done that, then yeah. This is something I almost forgot. So I think I'm gonna ask Ryan to unmute so that you guys can, if you want to ask questions, you don't have to necessarily chat. I was saying in the chat section so that I can copy and paste some of the questions in case I forget. Yes, that's fine, please. So yeah, so basically that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes when you're creating the work, you just test it first. You know, to say, look, once you've created the project on Bridge, it will give you the opportunity to play. So you say, so that you get an idea of what's going to happen when you play it before you scan, basically. Okay. So if you want to, if you don't want to chat, if you want to, you can still also unmute yourself if you feel you'd prefer to rather speak than type. So that option is available. I forgot to mention that at the beginning because I just dived in. Has everyone received the email? I know I still maybe have to send it to Sonia. The email that I sent earlier on. So I'm going to assume that everyone has, in terms of like Bridge and scan. That's a graffiti, and I was confused. Yeah, it can be very confusing. For me, yeah. So that's why I'm saying it shouldn't be too technical. I think that's the nice thing about Artivive. It's just the basics that maybe one needs to pay attention to. So for example, like with the X, Y, and Z axis, that's where it can also become a bit confusing for some people. I did receive the email. Okay, yeah, maybe just check the spam folders. Check the spam folder. was just an email just about signing up to Artivive and everything. I'm going to send the slides after this session. So yeah, it was an email that I sent earlier this morning, before the first workshop, actually. It's quite, I think it was around 7 in the morning when I sent it. Okay, if you got that email, all right. And then I'll also I'll include a few examples as well in the email that I'm going to send to you guys. That's how much time we have. We've got 20 minutes. So yeah, just so that you have as much, as many resources to kind of reference in terms of when you're creating the work. And then I'll obviously just respond to everyone's emails. Please, let's try and get everything as much done by 3 o'clock. Remember, it doesn't have to be the final. It's just for you to get the ideas. But if you can send me what you already have, like at 2 o'clock, then I can give you feedback, and then you can work on it and then send it by 3. I think if you just send everything, let's say at 3 o'clock, that's when you send, then that's still fine. So don't feel like, if 3 o'clock passes by, then you're still not done. The whole purpose is just for you to get the hang of it, get used to it, so at least you know that, okay, if you just still want to further work on it later, that is still perfectly fine. In my notes here, that's, yeah, I don't have anything else. Any questions? Any questions? All right, so in terms of the Artivive community, did you accept video files? I'll double check. They recently had changed. I'd prefer just in uploading an MP4 video file, but they had, because recently they made a few changes. So that's what I'm trying to remember now. Because last time I tried uploading an MOV file and I wasn't able to, but when they made a few changes, I think that was one of them. The Artivive, going back to the Artivive community. So yeah, so it's still growing. I think I didn't, but you can find also information on the site. It was started by these guys in Austria, who decided, look, let's find a way to create something that, can benefit, that is first and foremost convenient and easy to use. Because, for example, if you paint, or you draw, or you're a visual artist, the chances of you knowing how to develop digital artworks and videos are very slim. Not impossible, but very slim. So that's where the convenience element comes into it. So yeah, there's quite a number of people, depending on where you're based. If you're meaning a physical community where people use the app, or an online community, we have a blog on the artivive.com. So you can read about different exhibitions that are being launched, different tips. And yeah, there's quite a lot of other stuff that you can also find out. And if you follow the social media pages as well, just to get a sense of who's releasing what. And then, are there rights issues involved with uploading stuff to Artivive, copyright? Okay, there is a terms and conditions thing. So the artist retains full ownership and rights to their work when they upload it to Artivive. But to get into the finer details, the finer print and information, that's also on the website. So you can find that information on the website. Convert your MOV to MP4 using format. Yeah, so Nicola says you can convert. So yeah, just also, I do most of my, depending on which laptop I use, but I sometimes just use an online tool or some platform that can convert videos or files. It depends on how big it is. But yeah, it's just, as long as it doesn't compromise the quality, I think that's just the key thing. You kind of have to know which tools or software available so that you do not compromise anything on it. Any other questions? Nicola's also suggested Format Factory. So that's also something you can use to convert from MOV to MP4. Any other questions before you guys work on the final? And we have a mini, I don't know what to call it. We'll have our own mini augmented reality exhibition at 4. I really liked what people have been sending me. It's really interesting. I really like the work that people have been sending me. So it's going to be very, yeah, I think we might have to find a way to package everything that has been created, depending on what you guys want to do. But yeah, I'm really excited from what I've been receiving. And, you know, this is just, like I said, it's just in one day. So imagine if you invest, you know, a longer period of time and, you know, you dedicate a week or even a month. Giving poetry wings, for example, normally the artists would, so for example, last year, the artists would all travel to Grahamstown and they'll spend like 3 days together. You know, in most cases, they'll be living in the same accommodation, and they would be creating work over 3 to 5 days, which would then get exhibited and would be opened at the beginning of the festival. So yeah, it's just about, I think it's dependent on your, how you create basically. And as Ryan has put it, the final session is from 4 to 5. So this one, I'll say maybe that's when I'd want to hear everyone speak as well for this session. And it's just going to be more just giving feedback and final questions, but we're going to focus more on, I will be sharing my screen so that everyone can just have that one screen where they're scanning. So if you haven't downloaded the Artivive app, please do so that you're able to also experience and see what others have created during today. And then depending on what everyone wants to do with it, we'll then take it from there. We have about 3 minutes or so, 5 minutes or so. Any last questions, anything? Feel free to ask while I am still here. Create. And I wanted to change, should I delete it? Why? No, I don't think you should delete it. I'm trying to get, Sonia's asking the work that you wanted to change. So just remember that, look, what we're creating is just for the workshop purposes. So it's not, you know, like I said, it doesn't have to be the final, but I will just give suggestions to just say, look, this is how you can work on it. And then, yeah, I can edit it. Yeah, it also depends on how much editing you want to do. If you are you referring to just, you know, shifting or changing the transparency, or yeah, okay, cool. But then yeah, I will, like I said, I will just give everyone that feedback, and yeah, just by 3 o'clock, if I can have the final images so that I can also just, you know, arrange everything into a slideshow that we can then just come and have a, I don't know what to call it, mini virtual, we'll call it our Zoom augmented reality exhibition. So it'll be interesting. Also just, then also, like I said, I'll share a few of some of mine or some of the artists that I've worked with who've really created some very cool augmented reality videos. Last call for any questions. Going once, going twice. It's very interesting because sometimes someone might be typing, but this doesn't show me if someone is actually typing a message or not. But yeah. Okay, if there are no questions, then I think that's about it. Yeah, once again, thank you for being part of the second session. Please try by all means to make it to the final session. And then we'll just have I think we'll be discussing and less of me speaking and you commenting on the chat sections. So it's going to be a bit more interactive and just to get that experience from what everyone has created. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. So if you struggle, please communicate. Don't, if you come across any difficulties, yeah, just let me know. And then we shall try to assist. My Wi-Fi is working perfectly now, so I can see the signal is good. Thank you very much. We'll see you at 5 minutes to 4. So let's start logging in at 5 minutes to 4 so that at 4 o'clock, we dive in. I won't be 3 minutes late this time. All right, good afternoon, everyone again. Welcome to the final session of how to create augmented reality artworks the easy way. Yeah, it's been an interesting day, interesting journey, but I'm more than delighted by what you guys have been able to create within the short space of time. So that's been very interesting, and yeah, it's definitely something that can't wait for everyone to have a look at what everyone created as well, and hopefully you will be inspired to continue working on what you've created, or even continuing to work on create other artworks. Basically, it's been interesting, and I saw some people complaining about the time, and I was like, yeah, it's just like I said, the whole purpose is just to get the hang of it, the practical experience, so that you've actually worked with the application, you've worked with Bridge, and then you can now continue to look at other artworks that have augmented reality. And yes, so I hope you guys are ready to see what everyone that has sent me work created. Some very cool things. So what I'm going to do is, due to time, because I received some of them a bit late, so I wasn't able to put a name, because I created a slideshow with each artwork. So what I'll ask is, when your artwork is on the screen, please just feel free to comment on your experience, what you've learned, and yeah. So I'm going to ask for that. There are some that I might have, for example, 2 artworks on one page. So the artwork on the left, the person who has created the artwork on the left, then I'll ask them to just unmute their mics and then speak and just share the inspiration behind the artwork, or just the general experience. It doesn't have to be too long, but just to give brief input on their own artwork. Hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are ready for this mini virtual exhibition. It's going to be quite interesting. So I'm going to just do one more thing. I think I'll do that first. Let me do that first. So I'm going to share my screen now, and then, yeah, we'll get into it. Just give it a few seconds. No, don't. There we go. All right. So we have the first two artworks. I know these were created by two different people. So I'd like to ask the participant who created the artwork on the left, Mystery, to just, feel free to just unmute yourself and just share with us while everyone is just scanning the artwork on the left with the Artivive app. Just explain to us, what's the inspiration? How was your experience creating the augmented reality for this piece?
Shame, I'm going to speak on behalf of him. He's actually my student, and he just sent me a message to say he couldn't come in, but he was quite upset because he wanted to experience this as well, but he did love it.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for that. Okay. Some of these actually I'm also, because of some of them were sent a bit late, so I'm also scanning them for the first time to see.
Hi, sorry, mine is on the right, but during my 3D process, I deleted the first half of this one, so I don't think it will work.
Okay, no problem. But you sent me the second one. I think I have another one that
yes,
you did send me a second
the
one,
second
right?
one, which is part of this one, I guess. It's just, it said duplicate on Bridge, and so I just didn't think and deleted it. So I don't know if it'll still work.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for the heads up. And then just maybe in the chat section, just let me know if you need more time to scan the artwork. What's happening? Oh, that's interesting. All right, okay. That's the music. So has everyone managed to scan the artwork? Chat. Okay, so yeah, so the left one is by Brandon. Okay, no, the one on the right it's not working, but there's another artwork that is gonna work because it was a duplicate artwork. So it's unfortunate that Brandon can't be here. Okay, so you just let me know in the chat section because I don't want to move on to the next one before people are able to scan. I know sometimes it can take a few seconds just to scan the artworks. We're gonna move on to the next slide. Oh, that was. So once again, I'd like to invite, I wish I could see the names. I can't open on my phone. So yeah, the participant who created this augmented reality video, which is very interesting. Feel free to unmute and just give us feedback on your experience and what made you design this specific image.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I just had these elements on my system, and I just put them together, and I thought, what can I do? And I just made like a no drink and drives campaign, little like a billboard type thing, you know, that would interest people that could scan and have a creative message behind it. But yeah, it's not really a great work of art. It's more me playing around, seeing how all the elements work. Yeah, there's 3 layers to this. There's the background, with the pineapple, and then the bottle comes up with the words, and then the fruit also animates in the background. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this. It was so much fun. I just wish I had more time to finesse the whole thing, but I had a lot of fun doing it.
Okay, no, thank you for that, Christine. Yeah, look, I think, like I said, it's just, as long as everyone just gets the hang of, you know, working with the applications and working with Bridge and everything, then, you know, going further, then, you know, you can decide on how extensive you want to create something. But I like the fact that you referred to it almost like as a billboard, because there are in some countries where they have created, if you see some of the YouTube videos, you'll see some examples of billboards that have augmented reality. So yeah, like the potentials, the possibilities are endless. It's just dependent on your imagination, basically. And I like that, you know, there's even a positive message to say, look, it's about, you know, drinking and stuff. Someone else also, I won't say it yet, but you'll see one of the other artworks, someone also related it to the whole lockdown. It's a nice message about the whole lockdown that we are experiencing. Has everyone been able to scan it? Please let me know. Just in the chat section, just say yes, or you can just type a Y if you've been able to scan the image. Okay, we are going to move on to the next one. You send these to us. Yeah, look, Bianca's asking if I'll send these to everyone. That's up to you guys. If you want, you know, I'll just, what I'll do is I'll email you the slide, because it's, you know, Google slide. I'll just email you the slide so you can see, but I'll put the names of who created what so that everyone knows who's responsible for what. I think I'll also just put also like the contact details, because I have everyone's contact information, so that you know that, oh, this person created this and that's their email address, and yeah, so that is possible. We can do that. Yeah. So yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Cool. We're gonna move on. I need to check, just make sure time. Okay, now we're good for time. This is another one. I think, was this Valentine? I don't know who did the one. Who did the artwork on the left? I'm sorry, I can't refer to the names and everything. It's just, yeah, trying to multitask.
Hi, TK. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I did the one on the left. It's a 3D version, I guess. And I really had fun, because I'm sitting there and I have so many questions, and then I watched the videos and then got stuck here and there, and just really cutting out the slices to make it 3D was interesting. And there was a question about placing music inside your video, and I was looking for sound effects of like the ocean. I was not able to find any, so I got a video with that sound effect, and I put that into Photoshop, and yeah, so the sound that you're hearing is actually sound from a video. And yeah, I had fun. Can be cleaner, but for a first attempt, I'm happy.
Okay, that's great to hear. Now, thanks for sharing that. If you're happy, then I'm happy. Yeah, like I said, it's all dependent on how creative you are in terms of creating what you want to work with. It's the possibilities, once again, like I always say, are endless. And so it's up to you. And in this current time, in these current times, not in this current time, just trying to find ways, because remember, this is something that's not as common or popular to everyone. So, but it's, something that can be very interesting for people to engage with, especially if it's along the lines of something that people are all able to resonate with. Yeah, that's the word that I wanted to say. And then we have the artwork on the right.
Sorry, TK, can I just ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Artivive online, when I preview it, I can hear the sound. I can't hear the sound now.
Okay. So maybe, yeah, sometimes just need to double check. Sometimes there might be just a small glitch.
Okay.
So it depends on the strength of your bandwidth sometimes.
Okay.
When you're scanning the artwork.
Okay.
So it's
cool.
Yeah. So when you're on Artivive on the site, you're most likely to hear the sound. But when you're scanning it with your phone, the internet connection, yeah, it's I think that's one of the cons, if I can put it that way, disadvantages, because if you don't have a strong bandwidth, the video might play and the sound might not play. So sometimes that's why you have to just move your screen from scanning the image and just to scan it again. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. And I think it was this.
Hi. So mine is on the right.
Artwork on the right.
Henrietta.
Hello. Oh, sorry,
Hi.
Henrietta.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I actually, just because I wasn't familiar with Bridge, I just played around. So I created actually a few different versions, but I kind of deleted them, which I regret actually, because I was working with the same version and then deleted things and things. So, but I really learned a lot, and I think I'd like to just take more time to actually cut out like some of my paintings, and yeah, bring them in more detailed and think about why I would want to use this and what it says. So I think this was very good as a technical exercise, but I just need to understand the reason behind why I would want to use it in a conceptual sense and a message. Yeah, so the technical side of it was brilliant for me to learn. Thank you for this workshop.
No problem. Thank you for that. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah, no, I think that's the correct approach. I think when it comes to with the augmented reality, it's not to just say because you can do it, you should just do it, but to find, a reason to say this is the objective, and then that then helps you in terms of developing the specific video that would then address the objective that you want to achieve, basically. So I'm always trying to just tell people and encourage artists to just put that into consideration, to say, look, don't just create for the sake of creating, and then because it's cool and it's it's an interesting app, it's technology, it's augmented reality, but because people will still find it interesting that are not used to augmented reality, but it defeats the purpose if there's no story. You have to say what is the objective, what story are you trying to uncover, or what layer of the artwork are you trying to get the audience member or the person looking at the artwork or scanning it to experience. What do you want them to feel, what do you want them to think, and stuff like that. So having that in consideration is something that as within this technology and everything is very key to ensure that it's not just for the sake of doing it. I've noticed that even sometimes you meet some of these fanatics who work in the field, you know, who will say, okay, but no, this image, and look at more of the technical aspects to say, okay, maybe this could have been done better, and maybe the video is, you know, the video quality is a bit not standard per se. But when you get into the finer details, when you have more time, when you have a week, when you have a month to, you know, really look into what you're creating, and then you can look and focus on those finer details and make sure that, okay, the video quality, everything that you want to achieve is done through the augmented reality. So thank you, Henrietta, for that. We're going to move on again. So everyone has managed to scan? If you've managed to scan both artworks, please just let me know in the chat section. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're going to move on. I just click. And this is by Sonia. I think I can remember because I'm familiar with Sonia's work.
Yeah, so my 3D thing flopped completely, but I gave it a bash. I need more time. I'm a bit challenged when it comes to these things. The 2D one was better for me. But I have 3 images, and they are drawings of the sounds of patients in ICU with the COVID. And so I've got 3 sort of halogenetic images that I wanted to activate so that you could move through the images, through all 3 of them, but it ended up in something that looks like a jigsaw. But yeah, I'll give it another bash. It's very interesting, and I can see the potential. It's just incredible. So thank you, Tika. Love it. Love this workshop.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, look, we learn. it's not something that, you know, it's gonna come easy one time and we get into it and get it right. As long as, you know, you get the first-hand experience of doing it, and then you know that, oh, okay, this is the possibilities, and then you can take it from there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So the other one, you have another one. The other one is still working. Did you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because it's part of the slides. So I don't know if is it the next one. Let me just see. What's the next one? I'm gonna take a guess. Is this Christine's image?
Hello. Hi, yes, it's mine.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, so I basically, I'm a motion graphics designer. So I did this logo build a while ago, and then I just basically grabbed the first frame, and yeah, when you scan it, then the whole animation plays with the audio. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe like doing like interactive business cards or something, like AR business cards, or like little mini showreels in a business card you can hand out to people. That was kind of the idea I was going with with this. Yeah. So yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Christine. Yeah, actually, like for the blog, funny enough, our business cards have the augmented reality feature, but yeah, so it's just about going wild, you know, in terms of what was, I'm trying to remember what someone, when I attended this marketing exhibition, he was talking about how in the corporate sector, you know, how this could also, you know, in terms of having advertisements that people can scan. And I think I mentioned it also earlier in the previous session about the postcards. I think there's a client that I worked with. They were proposing to South Africa, as a tourism company, about having postcards that, you know, I think it had a greeting in Zulu or Xhosa, I think. So, you know, it's just those small things, even magazines, newspapers, etc. It's just dependent on, you know, either what you specialize in, the discipline or the field or the industry. You know, there's some people who, there's a guy in Joburg, he's called Davin, he's got this app, it's called Vertex, but that one is more, it's got a similar approach, but it's not necessarily digital images or images that are printed. But his work kind of could almost fit within an architectural space, you know, where if you had, what do they call it? A map, a site map, and you scan the site map, and then the actual, you know, building of that, you know, would actually pop up. An augmented reality version of it would actually pop up, but that's on a 3D level. But that's a bit more technical. I don't want to get off topic. Has everyone managed to scan? I think you had 2 artworks, if I'm not mistaken. And where did... I was looking for the chats. Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I will send them. Do you want to talk about this one as well?
Yeah, so it's just a drone footage that we took the other day, me and my husband. And yeah, I just basically took the first frame, or one of the frames, and I just did some filter in Photoshop, and I put the word Mauritius over it. And then when you scan it, then it's like footage going over the sea. Yeah, so it's quite simple to do. It didn't take me long. It was quite quick. But I would have liked to have maybe animated the titles and maybe like faded them in with the video if I had more time. But yeah, I love your idea of a postcard series. And I think it'll be such a brilliant idea with promoting South Africa or any other country. I think it's such a brilliant idea. Yeah, thanks, TK. I really enjoyed this workshop. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much for attending. Yeah, I like this one. Like I said again, you know, sometimes it's you shouldn't try and overcomplicate it. So like even with photographers, sometimes I think most of the photographers I've met, for example, don't consider themselves as artists per se. But I always tell them, look, you could have, like, I like it's got the image has a bit of an effect. So it doesn't look like it was just a photo that was taken. Didn't manage to make mine yet. I thought so. Nicola saying just attend for inspiration. Okay, no, Nicola, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you for still attending. Thank you for still attending. And do feel free to still email and send it to me so that when I send everything to everyone, yours can still be included. So I was saying, so it can be basically, like I said, it could be a video, then you use the first frame, and you know, I like this one because of the footage, the drone footage, and it's just that's as simple as that. I don't know how to further explain it, but when you get into the hang of it, then you can start, you know, seeing how can you venture into other things, or you know. I know the first time I saw something similar was this, I don't know which Harry Potter movie it was, but it was on the newspaper actually, but that was more what can I call it? I keep on forgetting these words. I don't know why, but yeah, imagine you open the front page of a newspaper has this image, for example, and it's about Mauritius. And then you get to scan, and then you get to see the video behind it. So it's just about, you know, how far can you go with it, and how far can your imagination think in terms of the possibilities to have augmented reality images, basically. Thanks for this. had a few issues with internet due to which I could not make the error. Okay, Stephen, no problem, no problem. Thanks for letting us know. So everyone, if you're not able to, still feel free to send the images later, or within this week, perhaps also. But I think I'll try and just send everyone the slides before the end of today. Everyone has managed to scan and see the drone footage. Let me know in the chat section. Just say yes, and then we shall move on. Yeah, Bianca, it's not about, you're saying it's not amazing. Remember, this is just, for us, for everyone to get used to the app. So it's not as, what do I call it? It's not as demanding as, the pressure that I put on the participants that are part of the Given Poetry Wings. So Given Poetry Wings, I'm a bit more, robust. I'm like, guys, we have deadlines, because that one, then we have an actual exhibition that we have to put up. So yeah, it's quite interesting. So yeah, okay. I guess everyone has managed to scan this one. We're gonna move on. I wonder how many. This is Sonia's artwork as well. I don't know if you want to speak on this one as well, Sonia.
Yeah, I actually thought this one was quite successful. I liked the crossing lines. I wasn't sure what you meant by the feedback. So you said that the traversing lines is actually what I wanted. So I'm not sure how you meant it.
Okay. No, I think, no, if that's what you wanted, that was just a suggestion that I made. So yeah. if that was the objective, then that's fine. I was just speaking on the movement to say, remember also, like with the app and with the bridge and everything, the onus is on the artist. So it's just, if you want to have a black and white picture of a child, and then when someone scans it, a different video plays that might not be related to the child per se. You might have a different objective on why you want that video to play. So at the end of the day, it's as long as it's meets your objectives, then that's fine.
Well, what I also thought of doing was, I mean, because this is actually a drawing of a poem, I'll just sit and play more. But I actually also wanted to kind of, if you moved across it, you'd hear the poem, or link the audio to it. So that would be something else to try.
Yeah, I think that's also possible. I think for different artworks, I would always encourage people to just focus, because one of the Given Poetry Wings artists, he wanted his artwork had different images at different places, right? It was a portrait. And he wanted the viewer to be able to scan different parts of the artwork to see different videos.
Yes.
Which sounds very creative, but it's not very practical with the Artivive, unfortunately.
Okay.
Unless you, like, for example, let's deal with this artwork. So if you were to divide it into 4 sections, equal sections, equal landscape images, then it would make sense. But if it's more, so that means you have 4 different artworks and 4 different videos. That is more possible, as opposed to a specific part of the artwork being scanned to have a different result. I think it also depends on the size as well of the artwork. So if it's a banner that's very big, then obviously you can have that option to say, look, there's a specific part of this banner that if you scan, you actually get an augmented reality feature, because the banner would be that big, and the part you're scanning is actually something that fits within the parameters of the phone, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, thank you for that. So everyone managed to scan, and then we move on. Time seems to be flying. Yo. Okay. Going to move on to the next one. Poetry Thursdays. Yeah, the poetry, it's an interesting element. I'm actually working with there's a rapper who wants to also try and find ways to, you know, have his music or like snippets of some of his songs within an augmented reality field. So let's say if you scan his album cover, you get to kind of listen to almost like a preview, 20 seconds of each song that's on the album or something. So it's, you know, it's very interesting what one can do. We're gonna move on. I think this might be one of not the last one. I don't know. I think I might have missed a few images. I think I might have missed one or two. So yes, the person who created these images, do you mind sharing your feedback? It says someone is talking, but I can't hear. Or maybe the person is not online. I'm trying to remember who had created this one. Okay. Okay, but we can scan it. How come I can't remember? I like the one on the right because of the movement that happens with the artwork. So it's very not necessarily experimental. So I'm carrying. Okay. So she's not online. Okay. One new message. Okay. I think there's a specific app. I don't know why I always forget the name of the app because you're saying she was struggling to. Let me quickly, come on. There it is. So I'm just going to quickly find out because I've used it before, but I think I've been doing, yeah. So this is Karen, I don't know, Karen. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, my laptop decided it's got a tendency of logging me out once in a while. It only happens in the afternoon. I don't know why. But anyway, we'll share the screen again. And I see Christine is saying, can get to ask her for us, perhaps we can get ticket. Okay, so yeah, so I think, look, I will include everyone's contact information and stuff as well in the slides that I send so that everyone can also interact. And if you want to learn and say, okay, how did someone create, you know, the artworks that they had created? Let me do this, so we go back. So yeah, so that everyone can also just, you know, kind of just interact as well and say, look, okay, this is, how did you, I think I was talking about, where was I? Synfig. Synfig. Yeah. That's the name of the, is it a software or an app? I think it was an app that she used for the artwork on the right. Very interesting. I like it. I think there's another artist who participated in the Given Poetry Wings second edition last year who also used a similar approach. So yeah, it works perfectly, not perfectly well, but it works well with portraits. You know, if you have a portrait picture, can include a space for what each of us used. Space in terms of what? Bianca, you're asking if I can include a space. Maybe if you can elaborate, you can just put that in the chat section. When you mean space, what exactly do you mean by that? And then I also like the motion that she put on the dog. So I don't know if everyone has been able to scan, because I know my I logged out and logged back in. So yeah, let me know once you're able to scan both artworks. I like the emotion that she included in the dog. And, yeah. In the presentation, author, artist, software used. Okay. Okay. Yes. I think I will just ask everyone when I respond in the emails, because I don't know what everyone used per se. In this case, Karine had informed me that she did use Synfig because she was struggling with other apps. So yeah, I'll just, maybe when I respond to everyone's emails, I'll just say, mention what did you use or what application or software did you use? And then, yeah, we can all get that information. So yeah, so let me know once you're able to scan both, and then we shall, I'm wondering if there's, I think there might be another one. I hope. I was trying to include everyone's image, so I'm hoping I didn't forget one because I was trying to fit everyone's, but I think there's one that I might have forgotten. Or was it Karen's as well? No. So yeah, let me know in the chat section if you're able, once you've been able to scan, and then we shall move on. All right, we're gonna move on and let's see if there's more artworks. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's about it. Is there anyone that I missed? Can you just let me know in the chat section? Because yeah, this was well, the last minute. I was trying to fit Bianca, so we haven't. Okay, what we will do is I will just stop share and quickly look for Bianca's one. My second submission, Valentine. Just an image. Okay. Yeah, I'll quickly just get that, then I'll share my screen again. And then I think, sorry about that. But does anyone, yeah, feel free, like, you know, if anyone wants to just share basically their feedback so far, just feel free to just unmute and just share how you're feeling after seeing what you've seen so far. Anyone wants to share? You're more than welcome. Okay, I've just downloaded Bianca's one, and I'm just downloading is it Valentine's, the one with the octopus. I hope this is the one. Yes, I've seen it. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of potential. There is a lot of potential, definitely. Can you imagine? So Valentine, when you mentioned first, second, and third years could benefit, which first and second, third years are you referring to? Maybe if you just explain, it'll be interesting to know. Are you referring to ones that are in a specific faculty or that are studying in a specific degree? But feel free to just unmute and just, yeah.
Hi everyone. So myself and Bianca are in education. We under the humanities faculty, so we teach graphic design or visual communication. So we are always updating our curriculum, and we're always looking for like new age technologies that can bring or that can enhance visual communication. So it's something that I think we had a chat about it a while back. Bianca, you can also jump in here, where we're thinking about integrating these sort of programs into our briefs. Yeah, so first year, second year, third year graphic design students.
Okay. Thanks for that. I don't know, Bianca, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, so I think both Val and I we're more than educators and designers. So I know Val and I, we both produce art in different ways. I'm more a writer, and she's more a illustrator, visual poet, who's also a DJ. And yeah, she's right when we talk about bringing in fourth industrial revolution into the graphic design curriculum. But it's more than that. It's about, for me, even from an education perspective, that interactivity and bringing people into your world is so much more effective now when you use new technologies like VR and AR and obviously mixed reality as well. So I'm trying to see it from a wider base. So not just a case of something we can teach the students, but something that we can actually immerse them in their curriculum more than they've done before. So yeah, it's very exciting.
Okay, awesome for that, awesome. Got a few minutes left, and I think that's just enough time for us to scan the last two artworks. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because, you know, like I said, you know, getting into one of the projects that I think going to get into later in the year. I think there's someone also in Joburg. They have, I think they developed an augmented reality app, but it was mostly for like people in terms of learning about the different road signs. Yeah, so it's more like, what's the word? Yeah, I don't know, I'm struggling with words today. For someone who's trying to get their driver's license. Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Yeah, so it's different elements where you can go and kind of scan a road sign and find out information about the purpose of the road sign and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just getting it into the educational field, because it's not only going to intrigue students, but it's a different way that people can learn. I think in the email when I sent to everyone the slides, I'll include a link. There's another, I'll call him a creative, but there's an organization, I think they're also based in Joburg. And they work predominantly with virtual reality though. And is it, I think, yeah, they're promoting, it was something that to do with HIV they were doing. So I think they had like a show that, you know, people could watch using their headsets, and it has something to do with relating to HIV, and that was the educational element. So they'll go to different schools, different communities, and, you know, give them a chance to, you know, experience this virtual reality story about, you know, HIV being the main subject of it. So yeah, possibilities are endless. You know, it's just about finding different ways in which we can get it to more people. So yes, let me not speak too much. Let me quickly share my screen so we can see the last two artworks, and then yeah, I hope share. And then you let me know once you are done. And if no one wants to comment on the artworks, feel free to do so. Now it's going back to the beginning, sorry. Yeah. So these are the final two artworks that we will be scanning. And once again, like, I think I just need to just to touch on, so for example, like I was saying, the movement or the video does not always have to be very rigid, or, you know, I think this depends on the objective and, excuse me, and what you're trying to achieve. So my best advice is sometimes minimal movement is the best, so that, you know, it's someone's, but it should still be significant so that someone can see that there is movement, basically. Scanning. Yes. Yeah, and for example, with Valentine's second artwork with the glitch effect, that's another, you know, where you can just, you know, create that different effect or to the artwork, basically. So it's not always about trying, but so it depends on how much time you then have or use in terms of creating the artwork. But yeah, even just having that bit of a glitch, you know. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else has anything to say, anything to mention. Let me know once you've been able to scan both artworks. Okay, no, thank you guys. Thank you for, you know, being part of the workshop. Thank you for attending it. I'm glad that you guys are inspired. I'm glad that everyone enjoyed it. I'm glad that everyone has learned something today. I think the key is just, you know, that you've learned something new, and, you know, you're able to kind of implement it and spend time in it or invest time in it. I think that's the key focus, because every time I host these type of workshops, you know, I think majority of the participants just put it aside and like, yeah, it's cool, it's amazing, nice, and then continue with life. So if you continue to, use the app or create other artworks or anything, other initiatives, do feel free to share with me as well. Everyone has my email address. You can see some of the work that we're doing on the blog. I'll just type my blog site here, radioactiveblog.com. Yeah, so you can see some of the work that some of the artists have also created in the past. I think last year, the Given Poetry Wings edition, that exhibition got exhibited at the Thuthukani African Digital Innovation Festival in Joburg, and also at the Brighton Digital Festival in the UK. So, there are a lot of opportunities, and it's not limited to just having exhibitions only, but like I said, like I've been also mentioning, that it depends on how far your imagination can go in terms of what could you potentially use this for, in as much as it's specifically or predominantly, not specifically, predominantly for visual artists. It is something that can definitely be used within the corporate field, educational field, and the list is endless as long as it is used to achieve your objective. I think, yeah, that's an hour is up for me. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you to Lauren and Ryan and the festival organizers. Thank you for participating. Let's keep in touch. I will send that email to you with the...
Great, TK. On behalf of the festival as well, thank you so much for being part of it for the past 3 years. You're one of the busiest people that I know, and you're always doing such amazing things to help the people around you, both with poetry and with augmented reality. So thank you for that. And I'm amazed at all the fantastic art that people did in an afternoon. You guys are fantastic. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks, TK.
Cool.